What up? Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us, and part of all that we do. Make sure you are sharing because sharing is caring and letting everybody know that the brothers are on. Let's turn this up a little bit. All right. So let's see. Do that, do that, do that. Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today, kind of switched it up a little bit. Today we're talking about dealing with fear, dealing with fear. Oh, let's do this. Bam, 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 bam. Let's see. All right. Hey, Lisa. Good morning. Hey, Mama Corey. She says good morning to Mama Corey, and Mama Corey is in the Facebook land. So we appreciate you guys um, for being here, always a part of what we do, and being a part of all of our conversations. So again, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Thank you guys for always supporting and all that. All right, let's see. Hey, Sam. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, what we're going to do is get ready to get started. My folks should be in the building. Uno momento. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to shoot out some text real quick. What up, Michael? Good morning, sir. Good morning. Great to see you. Great to see you. Let's see some link if you're available. All right. So what we're gonna do? You're right. Good morning, Keita. Good morning, BOL, and the rest of the gang. We're gonna go ahead and get started. And yeah, I'm gonna need my long one today. And we'll be right back. Right after this. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. Right. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole point is this, that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this journey possible, often invested in the business.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Don't stand out. We stand up. Oh. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Welcome back. My mind. All right, so make sure you are sharing. Again, so today we are discussing dealing with fear. Speaking of which, if you're scared, make sure you join our Discord community. Click the link in the bio, as well as join our text community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Let's see. And again, like I said, we're talking about dealing with fear. So today I'm dealing with the fear of me being here all alone. I guess my peeps is running behind today. And And again, I appreciate you guys for rocking and hanging with us. So I'm going to talk about some of my dealings and ways of, dealing with the things that kind of, I hate saying afraid of, but sometimes that fear or the fear can kind of paralyze you because you overthink certain things and it's hard to move into a space where a fear can dominate. Yes, indeed. AD Walker, host with the most. And how to kind of overcome or at least push through. Because sometimes I think the word to me, overcome, is like, I don't fear anymore. I don't even worry about it. That's kind of how I look at the overcoming factor. But for myself, I think it's just kind of getting through. That's how I define overcoming. Getting through. Sometimes getting through it, right? And fear can kind of still rest at the back of your mind, but you find a way to deal with it and help it to propel you forward, if that makes sense. Because, a lot of times we don't move because we can't, to coin the Kent Wade phrase, but shake the fear. Sometimes it's hard shaking it off. It kind of sticks to you like like the white bread when you used to, back in the day, you eat a sandwich, it stick to the roof of your mouth. It kind of sticks to you, but you can still get through your meal. So in that kind of fashion, that's how, for me, how I deal with things that may make me afraid or I'm fearful. One of the biggest that a lot of people struggle with is like the public speaking space, speaking in front of crowds, or and when I say crowds, it could be 5 or more people, and it begins. It's hard, like. I think the one thing about speaking sometimes, if you've made a commitment and, that you're up next, like you're on a program, especially just mostly in church, you're on a program, you're up next. It's like, there's no backing out of it. It's kind of like back in the day, if you go to the pool with the high dive and you got a line of people waiting, or God forbid, like however they push it to someone waiting for you to jump so they can be next. It's like, I guess there's no going back, is there? So it's those moments that push you out of your comfort zone. And that's, because that's where the comfort zone and being pushed out meet, because it's that fear and stepping into a space that you just like terrified, like, oh, how can I do this? How do I get into this space? But mine has been speaking. And like I said, a lot of other people kind of have that mindset of dealing with fear in a space where it's hard to move forward. It's hard to really want to do it. It's like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. If that makes sense. I'm sure like, you're like, yeah. And if you've ever been there, been able to kind of push through that fear, then you know what it feels like to actually conquer or win. When you just like forget all your feelings, because that's what you do. You got to forget what you're feeling and just go for what you should be doing, or go for what you should be attacking or getting into. And sometimes we get, and our life gets so paralyzed that it's hard to move forward in certain spaces. So today I kind of want to talk about dealing with fear. How do you get through something that has got you paralyzed every time you think about having to do this thing? And some of the worst parts of fear are when, you do a public speaking, you do something and it goes wrong. It goes bad. So not only on top of the initial fear you have, now you have experienced a shame or something going publicly wrong. And you're like, I will never do that again. Because now I have something to think about that has validated my fear. And that's like the worst. That is the worst. But in anything, things are always can possibly go wrong. Things can actually go left and not go right. So we'd have to just kind of you have to kind of think about, what is it that may be keeping you from this thing, and then you have to really think about what can I get, what can I gain by kind of breaking through or moving past this fear or doing it fearful. I've heard that term a lot, doing it scared. What can you gain? And we have to let that kind of be our focal point as to attacking this particular space. Because a lot of times if we don't, then we go to another space, which is worse than fear, which is regret. And the regret is like worse than anything because you can't get opportunity back, can't get the time back, and you just sit with the what ifs. I wonder what would have happened if I had done such and such, as opposed to doing and as opposed to doing and you get an outcome, because it's always an outcome. And most anything that you do, you can always find something positive in it. All right. If the pastor's really still, okay, there we go. He is really still. Pastor be like, is he frozen? So let's get Pastor in the building. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody in BOL land.
Yes, indeed.
You said you got it, that whole frozen concept, when it comes to thinking that I'm frozen, you have to let it go. See what I did there? I did there?
Oh, okay. What's that? What the comedian? I'm just wait for y'all to get that one. I'm waiting for y'all to get that one. Richard says, but you got to just do it despite the fear, learn from the mistakes, then better next time. And time after time, you get through it over the fear. Yeah, you gain the confidence, self-worth, but also be a little child. So we not hung up on being silly. Indeed. Indeed. But it's, it's shaking that fear and not, I think sometimes you overthink stuff. You think the worst of, and you kind of start making up things that are going to go wrong, and this is not going to work, or this is going to happen. And like I said, the worst is when you do something and it doesn't go the best way, and you feel like you have validation. See, this is exactly why I should not have done this. This is exactly why. Right? It's like, now I have a memory point. Never again. Back in 95, I tried that. And it did not go well. So today, just like I said, we're talking about dealing with fear. How do you overcome it? Or how do you push through it? And things of that nature. In every aspect. And from life to relationships to work to opportunities. How do you push through when and that's a starting point as well. Like, how do you push through when you've done it before, you tried it before, and it did not go well? And like I said, you have this memory of it just not going well. And of course, there's always factors. It's like you realize it was such and such. You realize power went out. You realize like uncontrollable stuff that you had nothing to do with was happening. No one's paying attention when the lady passed out in the middle of the auditorium. So how was anybody going to listen to you? Like you realize there are things that factored. But what if I get up and happen again? Well, that's still not you. That still wasn't you. It's just, so let's see. Oh, this is a good one, but I think I know this one. He said, Pastor Murray, did you ever go through that when you started preaching?
What?
I guess the fear factor.
I don't know how to describe whatever I went through the first time.
Oh, you said hecklers. Even had hecklers.
Yes,
I think he had
I
one.
have.
I remember
I
one.
have. Yeah, I have experienced that. No, more than once.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you witnessed one.
Oh,
Training.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
yeah. That's true. You're right. Because you were trying to give.
that's a
you're right.
heckler.
Yeah, 100%.
Anybody
100%.
that tries to intentionally disrupt what you're trying to present is
Right.
considered a
A
heckler.
heckler. Right.
You going against
You're
the
right.
grain, you're a heckler.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that definitions are critical.
Right. Okay.
Courage, 5 P's. You can't just put 5 P's out
I
there.
know, right? Because I'm sitting there like, Pastor, you know these 5 P's? Because I don't have them. So you got to throw them 5 P's up, McNair.
Yeah, I think
going.
that I love, again, I have to go back to scripture, 2 Timothy,
Right.
For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And I believe that in its original context, I believe that the message was to not be intimidated by what you see.
Mm.
I believe that what happens when fear takes control, fear is the opposite of faith, right?
Right.
Faith is the confidence, the belief.
Right.
Fear is the lack of. So what fear does, fear strangles the mind. It strangulates the mind, and fear causes the mind to stiffen up
Right.
into an unhealthy place. Because I don't think like most people will say that the lack of fear based on the definition, God has not given us a spirit of fear, what God's intention was. And I'm trying to in my mind, I want to make sure it comes out my mouth the way it is in my mind, in my head. And I struggle with that sometimes. I believe that fear causes you to paint a picture that's not there.
Okay.
The same way faith can do. Right. The Bible says, call those things that be not as though they were. Right. So we speak a thing that does not exist today with an expectation that it will exist. Right. Fear causes you to speak a thing that does not exist today with an expectation that it does or that it will happen. It's the same thing. Right. Fear comes from the expectation of danger or impending negative results. Even if they're not really there, you can paint a picture that they're there and be trapped in that picture.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And so I think it's important to have a fundamental understanding of what fear is, have a fundamental understanding that it is the opposite of belief. So that once you understand that, your mind won't play a trick on you. You won't be intimidated by what could happen. You'll believe in what you're in pursuit of.
Right. Yeah, there you go. He said false
evidence. False evidence
real.
appearing real. Yeah, the acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. Absolutely.
Right. And he said the 5 P's for my podcast people are proper planning prevents poor performance. I like.
We said that different in the military.
Okay.
But you're right. I won't repeat how we said that.
Everyone's like, can you say it here? Oh, no? Okay.
It just, we didn't use the word proper. Yeah. But
okay.
Blank poor planning prevents blank poor performance.
I got you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good question. Richard asks, is it better sometimes to be thrown into things to confront and triumph conquering that fear?
I mean, I don't know. You throw somebody in a pool of water that can't swim and tell them make it.
They might not.
Yeah.
That's true. Right.
First time I rode a motorcycle, the guy told me, he just said, just get on it and ride.
Oh. So
I got on it and I rode.
Okay.
Until I learned how to ride. I didn't have anybody teach me. He just told me 1 down, 4 up.
Oh, he said he knew. He said he had to clean it up. He cleaned it up.
Yeah. Okay, so you know. Gotcha. I'm just trying to keep it real, man.
All right, let's get Mr. Reparations in the building.
Yo, sir.
Keita said, "I know the military version." All right, so the question Richard asked, I think being, like you said, being thrown in may not be the healthiest. Sometimes you gotta push yourself in, if that makes sense. It's like you gotta just, there have been times when the back of my mind wants to say no, and I just push out yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it. I'm like, oh, we're gonna do this thing. Like, did you just say yes? I said yes. We're gonna just try. We're gonna do this thing. Yeah. And sometimes you just gotta kind of push yourself to do those things that you're fearful of. Because and a lot of times we're prepared for these opportunities. We're ready. It's just when it comes to like I said, getting on the diving board, like how to swim. You can jump in the pool, but you're standing at the height, you're looking down, and now you shook. but like McNair said, we've got past the 5 P's. It's just getting that courage to stand out there and just make the move to do it. I think that's a big thing. That's a big thing. And it's like we want to get to certain spaces in our lives, and it's gonna take doing those fearful things in order to get there. If you have something, you have a product, you need to sell it. So that means you need to talk to people about what you have and be able to sell, and I think it's like, I got the product, I know it's great, but now I have to do the part of, hey, Pastor, I got this thing, like, tell you how I can improve your life, like I said, you got to get the no's until you're able to turn them into yeses, and it just being able to convince and persuade and things of that nature. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you, Deborah.
What's the 5 P's?
Oh, that
I'm from retail. That means something different for us.
Proper planning prevents poor performance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, Ephraim, how do you deal with fearful moments or having to do things that you want to do, but it's like, like it's got you shook up?
Yeah, man. I just try to bully through it, man. And the hype up for it is real. Like, if you can see me like in the car before I got, you'll think I'm crazy, bro. I promise. Like, I just hyping myself up to try to do it.
Right.
Sometimes I look at my own self like, well, you tripping. But like, I just gotta hype myself up for it. You just gotta do it. It's kind of it's just not. It's worse for me to sit there and get tortured. So if it's something I fear or dread or not looking forward to, especially if it's something I control the timeline on,
right,
I'm just gonna go do it, man. I'm just gonna go knock it out. Now,
I got you.
The torture my father used to put me through, I get in trouble. In the morning, he would tell me he gonna get me, and then wouldn't come home all the way until 9 o'clock. So I've spanked myself 50 times over, but I had no control of that timeline.
Right.
So if I'm dreading something in fear, but from that's what I got. Like, I don't want to wait all day for bad news. I don't want to wait all day to do a thing I don't want to do. I'm with getting yourself together before you do it. But if I can control the timeline, we're going to have to talk. We're going to have the conversation. I'm going to make the call. I mean, whatever the thing is, I'm going to do it
out
as early as possible, bro.
Right,
I hate torture. I think it's unbearable. So
what you're saying is the longer you wait, the worse it is for you.
Yeah.
Because of where your mind goes.
It's even worse in my head than it actually turns out. It's
right. Yeah. And so like I said, and what happens is you get choked by your imagination.
Yep.
Right. And so what you have to do, I mean, faith says paint a different picture.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Faith, my faith says that the picture, the vision that fear gives me is not my reality. Right. I have to paint a picture of faith. Remember Jerry Wayne Macklin, his book, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Canvas. I forgot the title of it, but If your circumstances are to change, you must take the brush of faith and paint in vibrant living colors on the canvas of your tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. You have to paint your faith has to paint a picture that covers or eliminates your fear.
Right.
Now, this is not, I'm not saying that this is it's some easy, simple thing to do, because I don't know the length or the level of your fear as it relates to certain things or certain experiences or potential outcomes. Yes. Right. Fear will choke your mind. It will strangle your mind. Because the picture that fear paints is a picture of you losing.
Right.
And what happens. And we naturally fear losing.
Right. That's it.
And you get multiple scenarios of losing. Your mind will find creative ways to lose.
Again, you have to understand the definition of a thing.
Yeah.
Right. I can lose a baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
Losing a baseball game is different than losing to cancer.
Right. Indeed.
Right. Indeed. So content, context, all of that matters when it comes to the brush of faith, because losing is not the end.
Right.
But we treat it like that in our mind, which is why we get choked. We smothered by the fearful thoughts that our mind has. That's why it's so dangerous to succumb to your fears.
Right.
Because fear can paint a picture. Watch this. This is what's amazing. Fear can paint a picture that will cause you to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Ruin your own chances.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine's just that
faith only gives you wins.
Right.
Yeah. I like how you put that.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Because I think, this is probably like one of our, biggest thing is that fear. And I feel like our fear has kept us from prospering like we should.
Fear says, I'll never be able to make it.
Yeah.
Faith says, do it again.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Fear says they're never going to love me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Faith says I'm good all by myself.
Right.
Indeed. I mean, I think what's like for me, just in my experience, I remember the intimidation factor. The first time I felt intimidated with something formal, I was in Catholic school, and we were doing a play for Christmas, and we were doing the Last Supper.
Right.
And we were all our teacher had taken all the roles, the disciples and Jesus, put the names on a piece of paper, ripped them up, put it in a hat, and everybody was supposed to pick out of the hat whatever role you were going to play.
Right.
I picked the role of Jesus.
I thought you was talking about Jesus and the disciples for a second. I'm like, what?
No, in the play, we're going to do the play.
Yeah, I missed that in the Bible.
I was in like the fourth grade, third grade, or fourth grade. I think it's fourth grade.
Yeah.
At St. Teresa Middle School. And I picked the role of Jesus in the play.
Okay.
And the role of Jesus, I was like, that's too much. I can't do all of that. I'm not Jesus. So the fear, the intimidation factor of playing that role. Oh man, I'm telling on myself. I don't know if I ever told this to my mom. Is she still in here?
Yeah, I think she is.
Oh wow. So I actually got the role of Jesus. That's funny. And I was too intimidated by the role. It was so broad, and so I traded with this guy in my class, Patrick Grady.
Right.
And I ended up with Peter, the one who denied Jesus.
Right. Give me that dude. Give me that flawed dude.
Yeah.
What's funny is my mom enjoyed me in the play, but she didn't know I actually picked the role of Jesus.
Yeah, could have been Jesus. How did he do it, Jesus?
Well, listen, he did. Patrick Grady did great.
Right. That's funny.
But what's funny is he's not a priest or a pastor or a preacher today.
Yeah.
See there? Look at that.
The guy brought me all the way back from denying the role. Fear caused me to deny the role.
Look at that. Oh, let's see. Right. Richard said like she does now. It's all good.
I don't remember if I ever told her that. That's funny.
Oh, so yeah, definitely.
Yes, McNair. Fear says I can't do it. Faith says I can do all things. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's good, sir.
Oh, we definitely have to be just be mindful, like, so it's like whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is that you want to happen in your life, not to let fear be the factor and keep you from becoming what your goals are, what you're trying to reach out to, because many of us have technical issues. Okay. Okay, we good. All right. Oh, and because we can get stuck, we get paralyzed. And was it like McNair said, fear also paralyzes. And it can keep you just stuck, especially like Ephraim was saying, you create 13 different scenarios of losing. You just this will happen. This is probably gonna happen. This may happen. But what if I do? This may happen. And the main factor is like, what if you don't? Like, what are you missing out on if you don't? He said, let's not forget to be honest about our ability. Indeed. Truth indeed. True indeed.
Yeah. And too, you got to be careful with what you put in your head, because that sometimes turn around and it's kind of the thing that seeds the fear, if you will. I'm big on Mark the Perfect Man. Like, I'm big on examples and show me a way. I'm very visual. You know what I'm saying? I have I believe a decent balance between being inspired by the way somebody does a thing and not making them a fan or making myself a fan of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of, I like you, but I also realize you just like me. But sometimes when we put too much into us, I'll knock myself. Okay, so I see McCory preach, and then I'd be like, oh, well, I just can't preach there because look how he preached. You feel what I'm saying? Like and him doing him. Right. Sometimes if I take that in the wrong way, it'll be the seed for me not doing or limiting myself. You feel me? Like, McNair can, like, he can hoop, he can sing, he can do all that. You feel me? This man can literally play, jump off, and preach. You feel me? That is not my skill set. Right. So if I receive that the wrong way, I'll be tempted to say, well, I can't do that because I can't do what he do, or I can't do it how he do it. So when we're looking at the C-suite, and we're looking at your peers, and you see somebody get promoted, automatically your mind goes tempted to go to, well, they got promoted because they look how they do what they do, and it can serve as the seed to start the fear about, well, they won't pick me because I don't do that. So that comparison is a very sneaky way. Yeah, slide up in there. Make yourself feel inadequate, and if you're inadequate, then you can't accomplish the thing because you're not these other people. So you got to be careful with that, because that fear is coming from somewhere, man. I feel it was planted.
The fear is coming from recent or previous experiences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
100%.
Experience drives fear, or lack thereof.
Right.
Right.
For sure.
Going into uncharted territory can be fearful, can bring about fear. But going into a place that you were negatively impacted previously, can stir up fears. 100%. When you talked about Elder McNair, and the ability to sing and hoop and play and all of that, it's you're multifaceted with your gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I can't play piano, organ to save my life. If my life depended on it,
that's it.
It's over.
I might be able to find a middle C.
Yeah.
Right.
It's somewhere in the middle. I know. Yeah.
So I'll put all my faith in people like McNair and Macklemore and those guys.
Right.
and I'm not afraid. I just know better.
Right.
But with singing, like I can't sing either.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I take that back. I'm not a great singer, but I can sing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not even a good singer, but I can sing.
Right.
And guess what? I overcame the fear of singing out loud in front of people. You know how I overcame the fear of singing out loud in front of people?
How's that?
I realized my singing was for me and not for them.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's real.
Yeah.
If I'm gifted, if I can't, like when McNair sings,
Yeah.
we get a chance to just appreciate and enjoy his moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when he sings to the Lord, he ain't singing for us.
Right.
Right?
Indeed.
That's real talk. I mean, to let him tell it, he's not singing to entertain you.
Right. Indeed. Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
So your confidence, your faith has to be in what God hears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Especially when you're not gifted in that area like me.
Yeah. And then,
But I'm not afraid.
And then we mess around and we feel so inadequate. We start looking at other people that we actually scared or are fearful of being us. You feel
Right.
me? And when you're a kid, like you don't want to be the fat kid, the tall kid, the skin, you don't want to stand out in any kind of way, right? You don't want to be different. But as we mature, like that's really like you come to appreciate yourself. Like you got to come to love being you. You know what I mean? And you is going to be different. And but sometimes we all can be fearful, especially if you don't think you're gonna be received.
Right.
We can all be very fearful. We can all be very fearful of of being ourselves.
Definitely. He said his voice where he says make a joyful noise. Oh,
that's it.
Yes,
it's a noise, no doubt.
I'm gonna make a joyful noise. It may not bring you joy.
right.
Bring me some joy.
And McNair says, let's not forget to be honest about our ability. Indeed, I think sometimes, and Ephraim was saying it as well. Comparing yourself, kind of pushing yourself to feel inadequate, and you are, have this. You've set this high standard that's just not you. We just have to find another way to deal in the space that you're in, and your abilities and where you're at, but not allowing it to stop you from doing what you should be doing. Let's get this. Let's see. Some of these comments. Sam said, my kids have helped me get over my fear a lot. I want to think mommy can do it. I want them to think mommy can do anything. I saw her crush stuff. Right. Right. Let's see. It says, when you have one parent who teaches, encourages, and praises is great, but when a mother is the opposite but quite narcissistic, the parental programming ain't good. But I have overcome much, reprogrammed and developed myself, extra learning, being mentored, coached, yes, and changed the scenery and environment, and still doing so. Indeed. Vicky says, good morning. Fear is a tool for the enemy to strife our confidence in Christ and to distract us away from God. But we have to remember Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. You do not be dismayed, for I am your God. For I will strengthen you, help you. I will uphold you with my right hand. Stand on the promise of God. My mouth is loud, and I come boldly to the throne. Indeed. He said, then on the flip side, my husband pushes me out there a lot. Something I got to show up the best way I can. Indeed.
Yes, because he has faith over your fears.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes, indeed.
That goes back to Richard's comment earlier about, do you just push somebody out there?
Right.
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you got to. You got to kind of like, hey, let's just go ahead and do this thing. Because sometimes we, folks that just kind of sit on their gifts. And the worst thing I always hate is like, if you're in church and they're a member and they're in the back of you singing, and it's like you hear the front choir and everybody singing, and behind you hear a stereo, and it's like, why do I get it from the back? And why are you not up there? You're just staring like, you know, you had the moments like, if I had your voice, they couldn't shut me up. like everything I'm good morning, you know, like then you know, like everything. Oh, so it's funny about that fear, you know. Even those that you see that are gifted, you just wonder, like, what's stopping you? What's in your head that's stopping you? You know, you just, it's like, you got this. You know, like, and worse is like, you got this better than folks I've seen that step out. Like, what's stopping you in your head?
It starts early.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? It's early. It's childhood stuff. You know, think about this. I'll never forget when my first child was born. I was outside with a couple of buddies of mine. Was in the military, and we were standing in a garage. And you know, the bottom of the garage door hangs over, so you lift up the garage.
Okay.
Right, and lift it up to the point where you can still reach the door.
Right.
And so my daughter was she was young, and I put her up there, and her hands latched on to the bottom of the garage door.
Okay.
Right. So she's like 5 feet up in the air.
Right.
And she's like, I don't know, 9 months.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Don't leave your children with daddies.
Right.
And so my buddies were like, I bet she can hang on. So I let her go. And she held on.
She held on. Okay. She held on though.
She held on.
Okay.
Because her natural instinct was something in her hand. She's a baby.
Yeah.
They naturally grab a hold of it.
Right.
Right. And so I put the bottom of the
Do
garage.
not try this at home.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's a special breed right there. That's a man of God. All right. She was surrounded by military personnel the whole time. Don't do this at the crib.
Yeah, no babies were hurt in the building of this.
In the building of this faith.
But here's my point.
That was not a good story.
Here's my point. My point is,
Yeah.
she had never seen anything like that.
Okay.
Right.
She had never done anything like that.
Right.
And she didn't have an opportunity to even process fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She just naturally reacted.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is we have to get to a place spiritually where our natural reaction is like that of my firstborn child.
Yeah.
You hold on.
Right.
Right.
Indeed.
You got to get to a place where your natural reaction is belief.
Right.
Is faith.
Yeah.
Is overcoming. Is conquering. You know, and when you can get to that place, there's nothing that can hold you back. And I think what happens is, you know, because here's the other part of that story.
Right.
The other part of that story is, so she held on, right? And we said, I'm like, oh, look at that, that's cool. We was all laughing, right? Thought it was cool. And then I grabbed her.
Yeah.
And somebody said, do it again. Seriously.
Yeah. I believe
Right. No, I got you.
And silly me, I go to put her up there again. But the second time I go to put her up there, she looks up there and she brings her hands down to her chest.
Okay.
And she won't even reach up for it.
Wow.
Because she says, last time you did this, you left me hanging.
Right.
We're not going to do that
We're
again.
not doing that again.
Her previous experience had already got in her mind, and she was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm not going to do what just happened again.
Yeah, they leave you hanging up there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm saying this was before she could walk.
Right.
So if she had fallen, she couldn't even land.
You said this is the firstborn, right?
This is my firstborn. That was Taisha. Yeah, she's 34 now.
I'm about to say, just for clarity, she's 34 now. Don't worry, she's fine.
She made
got all the limbs. She's walking. She's got her own babies and she's doing a thing. She's good. She's good.
Oh man, she held on.
She held on.
But think about it. Think about us though.
Like,
Like,
giving the baby calluses already. All right, good. I'm sorry.
But that's how it works, though. Like, you know, when stuff gets in our head, and it can stop us.
Indeed.
You know? And there's some good fears, some fears that might keep us safe. But fear is such a deceiver. It's tricky,
Right.
It can also stop us from like really going forward, living our best lives, doing what we can do. But it's just
faith says, I want to give my mind room for reasoning.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
That's what it is. It's believing that it'll work out. That's what I love about God. God teaches us that fear can be irrational because there's nothing wrong with a healthy fear.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There's what I call dahlia, is a reverential fear.
Right.
Right. Like for God, fear God and keep his commandments.
Right.
So there are healthy fears.
Right.
But those aren't the ones we're talking about. And so what I'm saying is fear can cause you to think irrationally because fear can be irrational.
Right.
Fear can create things that are not there.
Right.
Fear can cause you to do things and act in ways that are unhealthy for you.
Yes.
Because of what your mind does.
Yep.
Faith makes room for reasoning.
Right.
Faith says, even if it doesn't work out the way that I desire it to work out, I'm still going to go forth.
Right.
Because it could.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm satisfied with the results either way.
Right. Fear says the last time I tried this, it didn't work, so I don't ever want to do it again.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a big thing to be able to check that, because sometimes fear becomes such a common voice that we don't check it. You just talked yourself out of something and don't realize that you just did it. Fear like is operating daily, and it's like if we can't recognize the voice, if we can't recognize that was fear that just spoke, we definitely can't do what Pastor doing, talking about like and backtrack it to see where that even started. Because a lot of times, and not to make that about the spiritual thing necessarily, because some of this is just natural, but a lot of times when you're attacking something, you need to attack at the root, is all I'm saying.
Right.
So sometimes you need to go back to something, dress down that situation. That's what we do when I play ball. We prepared for a team by studying film, but we also watched when the game was over too to see what we messed up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you had to strip that thing down. Coach would break it down. He got stats, how many times they ran, what we ran the most. We got every play recorded. We know how many times some people played. This guy only got 40 plays in the whole game, and this is what happened. We break it down. You strip it down so you can get a better understanding of how to move forward. And the goal is what? To hopefully not make that same mistake. So I think we don't address a lot of things enough. Right. And, when we see it happening, sometimes rushing in there with an explanation would be a good thing. Let me tell you what we just saw. Daddy was yelling at mommy because of this. That guy went crazy because of that. Let me just break this down before something just settles in your spirit. And, because it's not like it comes like some big flag or something like they're going to turn green or something, like this stuff just starts to get soaked into people's heads. So we got to do a better job breaking it down.
I think, like Keita says, for me, I hate to fail, but I know I have to realize failure can't happen if I don't start. And, failure is a perspective. Just because something doesn't go the way you want it to go doesn't necessarily mean you failed. You may not have hit the goal that you wanted, but there are things that you learn along the way, the process and things of that nature. So I for me, like I try not to get hung up on the quotation, the failure part, because I don't know. To me, sometimes failure is more or less when you stop. You just, when you throw it into the trash, I was like, I guess you giving up on that,
What's worse emotionally, to try and not make it, or to never try and wonder what could have happened?
I don't think they worry about that. I think they worry about what's more comfortable, and what's more comfortable.
Right.
Is sitting there and not letting nothing bad happen to me. Lower my expectations.
That's the trick, though,
Ephraim,
because you are uncomfortably comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because there's no comfort in fear. The Bible says fear has torment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to not do anything, there's no comfort in that.
Right.
To not try at all is an uncomfortable disposition.
Right.
So if you get comfortable, if you become accustomed to living uncomfortably in your fear,
it's gonna come out some kind of way. Absolutely.
Right. You are dying a slow death, or someone connected to you is dying a slow death.
Right.
And I've seen it turn people into haters. You feel me? So it's like then you start getting mad at other folk
for doing.
How dare they? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and it's caused a lot of people to keep some very exciting news to themselves. It's caused some people to be like, nah, I ain't gonna share that. Because last time I shared that, you know, somebody was hating on me. But you know, if you ain't gonna live yours, let somebody live theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hold on. I'm sorry. I went blank there. All right. So I appreciate you guys, Rock. She said, in the sense of fear as a noun. What do you mean by that? Oh, am I missing something? Because I was looking it up. The noun of fear, because fear, what do they say? A noun is a person, place, a thing. You know, that fear could be, you know, something that you see, something that can be a thing. Definitely. Oh, let's see. He said a rhetorical saying fear is a reaction, courage is a decision.
I like that.
That's good. That's good. All right, Pastor. Appreciate you. We're about to roll up out of here.
Bless y'all.
Bless you.
Have a good one.
And I appreciate you guys. Failure, not fear. Oh, okay. Wait, in the sense of fear. Oh, you saying in the sense of failure as a noun? We'll get into that because I'm lost in my conversation right now. Let's see. I hate to be the bad man, letting a customer know the bad news about their freight, but they respect the honesty and letting them know what is going on. Right. But better have a solution. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Because sometimes, you know, fear makes you avoid confrontation. Fear makes you avoid those conversations. And you go through it enough, it's like you don't really get anything out of avoiding anything, because more times than not, it just makes things worse.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's still there. Still has to be dealt with.
You know, and the worst thing that you hear is, well, if you told me earlier, you're like, oh, why do I keep doing this to myself? You know, if I said something earlier. So yeah, definitely begin to walk in faith, walk in expectation, walk in courage, you know, to make things happen. Don't sit paralyzed based on what you think might happen. Failure is inevitable. I guess so. And in certain respects, yes. Because I guess not hitting a goal can be considered a failure, you know, in respects to positioning. But it's, to me, the pivoting and what you turned it into, you know, not hitting the goal. What do you reach for? What do you take away from it? Because for myself, if you look at failures, I failed a lot, but I've grown from what can be considered a failure. You know, I pivoted from certain spaces, and it's actually probably more of a blessing than anything, because we'll go through that another time. Well, go ahead.
And who told us that we was gonna win at everything? Win at all times. You feel
right.
And like, we've messed that up in our messaging sometimes, trying to be positive. You know, and I do think you need to have a positive outlook. But like, who told you that? Who gonna birdie every hole? Like who gonna win every game? You know what I'm saying? Like, the Braves are like 39-29, and that's a really good season right now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's 29 losses. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not like, get that out your head. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep pushing past that. And I'm talking to myself too. You know, there's more beyond that, man.
Right. Yes. And McNair said yes, but it doesn't make you a failure. Indeed. The key is to keep pushing, keep moving. All right, guys. So we appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out, we stand up. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm teetering on what I want to talk about. So just stay tuned. Make sure you connect with us. Join our text community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. If you want to be in the conversation, you want to know what's going down, and you want to be contributing to what we talk about, join our Discord community. Click the link in the bio. All right. So we look forward to seeing you. Same time, same channel. Always know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe. And we out.